Alright. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
This is your brother Kahan.
Brother Shalom.
Alright, from GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp in Trinidad with another video, another lesson to the power and spirit of Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai. So first and foremost, Kal Alayam, La Alahaya Nawa, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'al Shai, Yahweh Shai. Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai. Right, and double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well, who taught us this whole 100% truth, not 90, not 80, not 95, not 99.999, but 100% truth. Right? Who teach us the truth and all truth and sincerity, you know. Shalom, citations unto the brothers who preach in this 100% truth. Show the four corners of the earth in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and the freedom to do so no more than ever. Shalom unto the speckled bird Israelites who looks like the other nations, but are Israelites through the fatherly lineage. And shalom unto the Aquats, the very few but faithful Aquats who in the truth here wholeheartedly. Alright, so we have a lesson here, a very important lesson. Alright, the name of this lesson is because this lesson is directed to a particular scoffer, a main devil. Yeah, a special type of devil, a special type of demon, as Apostle Taha label him as, rightfully label him as, right? To you vocab, aka vocab hormone, right? To you vocab, undeniable proof that the Moors were Israelites, right? Because, you see, I don't know if you know, he has been dealing with I don't know if the person is Muslim, but the person is Abu. But for a while now, since I in the truth and knowing vocab, even dealing with this guy called Abu, and of lately, him and Abu was going into black icons and whatnot, the black Madonna and whatnot, so forth, right? And he was saying that these things wasn't hidden. These things wasn't hidden, and these things we should have known. We should have known all along. We making it look like, you know, like.
Try to hide it.
Yeah, they tried, like, you know, like we refused to know about the Black Madonna and the Black icons through Europe and whatnot, so forth, and this and that and the other. Right? And that we should have known. That we should have known. Right? But the thing is vocal. Alright, we should have known. But really and truly, we should have known, as you say, but how we knowing, how the hell expect us to know when your ancestors from way back was always indulging in iconoclasm? Right? How they expect us to know when your ancestors, who was hooked on white supremacy, whitewashed everything, right? Whitewashed everything. You get a white James, a white Isaiah, so-called white, right? Because there are no such thing as white people, but we just go with that. A white Isaiah, a white Jesus Christ, right? I'll say for Britain, Jesus Christ, white Solomon, yeah?
King David, chapel.
Yeah.
Lights.
The Egyptians white.
Yeah.
The Babylonians white.
Can, right? Ten Commandments.
Right?
Yeah.
Moses white. Right? So then how you expect us to know? When your people cover the faces of the judges thereof. Right? But hey, as the scriptures say, right? In the land of their captivity, they shall remember themselves. And through us, and through the Mosai Salakia, through the Mosai first and foremost, putting His Spirit upon our apostles and elders, for them to learn, right, and read, and get full understanding, and taught us younger ones, we getting to see the truth and the proof to back up the truth. Right? So, this lesson is here, again, we're going into the Moses. Now we're going into 2 books. You all know the 2 books. Right? Yeah. You all know the 2 books that are, because as I went into the word, I did a video, breaking down the word nigger or Niger, and I went into 2 books because I said that these books, I need to start using them more, to start using them actually, and using them quite often, because there's a lot of information. Again, let's see that, read it. So yeah, the books that I'm going to is Salakia, Nature Knows No Color Line. The author of this book is Mr. J.A. Rogers. And then you have Babylon to Timbuktu, right, by Mr. Rudolph R. Windsor. Alright? So before we go into the books, get from Second Ezra 6 and 27. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, this book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 27.
Yeah, go ahead.
For evil shall be put out.
Yeah, evil shall be put out. Yeah, Boka, you and your people, and the lies that you had portrayed, the lies that you spread through the 4 corners of the earth, it is being put out. Right, go ahead.
And deceit shall be quenched.
Yeah, your deceit is being quenched. Right? Your deceit is being outed. That mad fire of deceit, of lies that you have been spreading through the 4 corners of the earth, it is being put out. Right? Go ahead.
As for faith.
As for what?
As for faith.
As for faith, because we have days this year is helping us, how I go say, our faith lies within this truth, and this truth lies within our faith. Alright? Well,
as for faith, it shall flourish.
It shall flourish, because why? We see any truth, we come into the understanding. So yeah, it flourishing. Go ahead.
And corruption shall be overcome.
Yeah, corruption, which is you Edomites, all the lies and wickedness that you have done upon the face of the earth, right? The corruptible deeds and actions, it is what being overcome.
Overcome.
Yeah, it's being overcome through the power and spirit of Yahweh,
through these words.
Going on downwards to the prophets, bringing out these words. Go ahead.
And the truth.
And the what?
And the truth.
And the truth. And the truth, vocab, the truth. Go ahead.
Which had been so long without fruit.
Yeah, which had been so long without fruit, because, hey, all they have been hiding the judgment truth. You all been hiding the truth. So the truth, which had what?
Which had been so long without fruit.
Which had been so long without fruit.
Shall be declared.
It's being declared now. So now the truth is being fruitful now, because why? Brothers and sisters show the 4 corners of the earth waking up to your lies and the deceit. Alright? So I want you to. So before I go into the book, matter of fact, here, go to the book. I want you to go to page 55. Make sure.
If they want to say that was the apocrypha, which they want to say they don't believe in, you can get that similar scripture in the book of Luke, right? I'll read this Luke. This is the book of Luke.
Yeah.
Luke chapter 8 and verse 17. Right? For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest.
Yeah, nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, right? That shall not be made known. You can't hide no secret or anything will come out.
Can't.
Well,
neither anything hid
go ahead.
that shall not be known and come abroad.
That speaks for itself. That speaks for itself.
And that's the New Testament, right?
And,
book of Luke.
Right?
Gospel, right?
Right, so they're reading from a yeah, well, we'll go to Babylon to Timbuktu first. Particular something. Let's bear with my Baba for short. Page 44. Alright. Alright, let's read this highlighted piece here and then I want to explain something.
Yeah. Alright, this is the book from Babylon to Timbuktu, page 44, under the birth of Islam, second paragraph.
Right, go ahead.
Right? The Roman Empire at the birth of Muhammad was divided into two parts.
Into what?
Into two parts.
Into two parts. Right? Because you had the pagan Roman Empire and then you had the Holy Roman Empire, which is known as what? The Byzantine Empire. And what they wouldn't tell you in the universities, what they wouldn't teach you in the universities, a higher place of learning, is that the Byzantine Empire, which was the Holy Empire, when they go into the word holy, is Kodash, which means the what is separated. It was a separate empire, Roman Empire, to the pagan Roman Empire, is that it was ruled by so-called black people, which were Israelites. They wouldn't tell you that. Right? Go ahead.
The Western Empire, with the capital at Rome,
with the capital at Rome, by the pagan Roman Empire, go ahead.
And the Byzantine Empire,
which is the Holy Roman Empire, which was us, go ahead.
With the capital at Constantinople.
Constantinople is what you know today as modern day Istanbul, Turkey. Right? Constantinople is modern day Istanbul, which is Turkey. Right? These are things that they wouldn't teach you. Right? Now, Constantinople, but before I go this, what I want to say is, what you have to understand is this. When Israel was under the Romans, there was a lot of Israelites. You will find that out through the scripture. Right? There was a lot of Israelites that was within the Roman military, that was serving in the Roman military. Right? And rose to high prominence, rose to high rank, rose to high official state within the Roman Empire. Right? And they end up separating themselves from the pagan Roman Empire. And what they wouldn't tell you in the history books is that the Byzantine Empire is the ones, which is us Israelites, is the ones that bring down the Roman, the pagan Roman Empire. They wouldn't teach you that. Because you see, everything for these Edomites is all about white supremacy. Because they are in rulership, so they are being able to do what? To control the narrative of everything. Right? So go ahead.
Right. Next paragraph. The Roman Empire in the West collapsed in AD 476.
In AD 476, go ahead.
After many barbarian raids and incursions.
Right? Because, hey, this here is prophecy where Esau, where that pagan Roman Empire fall, and Esau had us to go back up into the mountains. So, there's what I want to do first before I go to Nathan knows no color line. Go from the scripture, Malachi 1 and 4. Malachi 1 and go down to 4. Malachi 1 reading from 1 go down to 4.
Right. This is the book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 1. The burden of the word of Yahweh to Israel by Malachi.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have loved you, saith Yahweh.
I have loved you, saith Yahweh. Tell him that to Israel. Go ahead.
Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us?
Yeah, we started complaining to the Messiah that how you can love us and be going through all this here, all this turmoil, all this slavery, all this atrocities. You know? Go ahead.
Was not Esau Jacob's brother?
This is what the Messiah is saying to you, to us. Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Go ahead.
Saith Yahweh.
Say the Messiah, go ahead.
Yet I love Jacob.
Yet I love Jacob.
And I hated Esau.
And no, I love Esau.
I hated Esau.
I hated Esau. Right? But go ahead.
And laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
Right? When the Messiah lay his mountains and his heritage waste, that talks about what? His governmental structure. The mountains represents his governmental structure. Right? Notably his the EU and NATO, right? And the UN and what have you. He's going to lay to waste, right? And where's the heritage? The heritage is all wickedness of all sorts. You know, your homosexuality, your feminism that you push forth, your idol worship, your secret society, just your Illuminati and what have you. All these things is your heritage. Wickedness is your heritage. Right? Go ahead.
Whereas Edom saith.
Whereas what?
Edom saith. We are impoverished.
We are what?
Impoverished.
We are impoverished.
But we will return and rebuild the desolate places.
We will return and we will build the desolate places. So when you go back, Salakia, so when you read in Babylon to Timbuktu, right, the birth of Islam, but they're giving you an account first of what was taking place before Muhammad came in on the scene, right? I remember about that's the second paragraph. The Roman Empire in the West collapsed, right, which is the pagan Roman Empire, collapsed AD 476 after many barbarian raids and incursions, right? But what they wouldn't tell you, right? What they wouldn't tell you, it was the Byzantine, it was Israelites, so-called Negroes, what bring them down, right? The Germanic tribes crossed the borders and penetrated into all the territories of the Western Empire, including Africa. But anyhow, continue with that.
Right? Right, saith Yahweh of hosts.
Yeah.
Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, like here. Yeah. They shall build.
They shall what?
They shall build.
They shall build, because as we said before, we are impoverished, but we shall return. Right? Because what that's going into what? That's going into the prophecy of them falling and going into the Caucasus Mountains. Drop that, you will go back to it. Go to Revelation 20 and 1, and then you will go back to it.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 20,
Uh-huh.
and verse 1.
Go ahead.
And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit.
Now that angel represents us. Right? Because that heaven just goes into rulership. Right? Because this is where us coming back now to take rulership. Right? That bottomless pit represents Europe. Right? Because the word angel just simply means messenger. Right? It wasn't a literal angel. But you see, again, the spirit of the prophets is subjected unto the prophets. Right? I showed my secrets to my servants, the prophets. Right? So is the prophets could be able to understand the mysteries of the scriptures.
In the carnal sense, we never understand this.
Can?
Yeah.
Right? So, well.
Right? Especially chapter 20, so like, yeah, because this just jump back in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a back and forth.
Back and forth, yeah.
A back
So
and
they will
forth.
never understand.
They will never understand it.
People to them to understand.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right? And the key of the bottomless pit, and a great chain in his hand, and he laid hold on the dragon.
He laid hold on who?
On the dragon.
He laid hold on the dragon, which is Esau Edom, because that's going into the Roman Empire. Because what was the Roman Empire called? The Great Red Dragon. Go on to your secular history, right? And you would be edified upon it, right? That the Roman Empire was called the Great Red Dragon, right? Go ahead.
That old serpent.
That old serpent from since way back in the Garden of Eden. Go ahead.
Which is the devil.
Which is the devil. Which is what the devil to deceive. Because the word devil in the Greek, in the Latin Salakia is diablos, right? Which really means to deceive and to slander. Right? Go ahead.
And Satan.
Right? Satan, because he's the adversary of the Most High. The word Satan just means adversary, and they are the physical counterpart of Satan, of spiritual Satan. These so-called white people, these Edomites. Right? Go ahead.
And bound him 1,000 years.
And bound him how much?
1,000 years.
1,000 years. And bound him 1,000 years. Go ahead.
And cast him into the bottomless pit.
And cast him into the bottomless pit, which is the Caucasus Mountains. Georgia, Russia. Go ahead.
And shut him up. And set a seal on him.
And set a seal on him. Go ahead.
That he should deceive the nations no more.
Yeah, that he wouldn't be going out conquering and spreading lies no more. Go ahead.
Till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled.
Till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. Which is what the so-called white man coming back out into power. And when did that happen? Starting with the Borgias, right? Back in the 1300s. Right? Where you get what? The Renaissance period. Because when you go into the word Renaissance, it means to what? To rebirth. Right? Go ahead.
And after that, he must be loosed a little season.
Yeah, he must be loosed a little season to come out and deceive. And whitewash everything.
Which is what comes and no time coming right?
Right?
Yeah.
So go back now to the Micah. We are impoverished.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is Malachi chapter 1.
Malachi, go ahead, Salakia.
And verse 4, verse 4.
Yeah.
Whereas Edom said,
the so-called white man, go ahead.
We are impoverished.
We are impoverished because why? There's them in the Caucasus Mountains prophesying. Right? The Most High put the Spirit upon them to prophesy upon their own selves. Right? Coming back into power during the Renaissance period. Go ahead.
But we will return and build the desolate places.
We will return and rebuild the desolate places, right? And they did return and build through the blood, sweat, and tears, right, of our ancestors, which is the Israelites, both northern and southern kingdom. Right? Go ahead.
Thus saith Yahweh of hosts.
Yeah, thus say the Most High. Go ahead.
They shall build.
Yeah, you already did build. Look at all the cities now. Look at Madrid, Spain. Look at all them cities in Germany. Kaiserslautern, Munich, Hertha, Berlin. Oh gosh, All them cities, all them Switzerland, Sweden, Holland,
all this European.
Utrecht, Holland,
Yeah.
Eindhoven, Holland. Look at England, right? America, which is the crown jewel, right? Go ahead.
They shall build, but I will throw down.
But I will throw down, right? Which is going to be thrown down by thermal nuclear fire. Go ahead.
And they shall call them the border of wickedness.
And they shall call them, the border of wickedness. Right? Because why? When they go into the book of Maccabees, when Esau first came into power through Alexander, right? When Antiochus come upon the scene. Well, a matter of fact, not even before Antiochus, but when Alexander came on the scene, what the scripture say? And wickedness exceeded upon the face of the earth. Right? When you go into Romans 9, the Most specifically say he created you to be the wicked.
When you think about a border,
border is a beginning and an end.
When you cross in a border into a country, if you go to Mexico, when you cross into America, when you're in America, for example, America, the land of the wicked, right? So when you're in it, they are the, as you say, the beginning and the end, the embodiment. A whole embodiment of wickedness. Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
Right, go ahead.
Right? And the people against whom Yahweh.
And the people, notice the people, the race, people.
Go
ahead.
God only deal with nations.
Can.
Right? Against whom Yahweh had indignation forever.
For the Most High had indignation forever. Yeah? Forever. Go now to Job. Go now to Job 30 and 1. And then we're going to go into the books.
And this is the book of Job, chapter 30, and verse 1.
Yeah, go ahead.
But now they that are younger than I.
They that are younger than I. How they are younger than I? Because the whole world was so-called black people. Right? The whole world was so-called black people. Right? Esau's race is a how I go put it? Esau's race is I'm trying to find the word. I'm trying to find the word. Considering what the Hano melon and now boy.
They're cursed.
Well, yeah, the curse, yes, but
it's a leprosy. I'm suffering from leprosy.
Yeah, right. But
yeah.
to make a long story short, the so-called white man, they was the last nation upon the face of the earth. Well, I wouldn't say last, but second to last, right? Because they're older than us, right? But any take it, we still older than them, due to the fact that they are people that the Most High literally put a distinguishing mark upon them. Right? So go ahead.
Right? So now we got over.
Yeah.
Job 30 and 1. But now they that are younger than I.
They that are younger than I, go ahead.
Have me in derision.
Yeah, you have no, or they haven't we in derision. Or they're looking down at we now. Right?
And
go ahead.
Whose fathers I would have disdained.
Yeah.
To have set with the dogs of my flock.
Yeah. Job said I would himself have always even sitting next to my dog. Because why? All into bestiality and all. Or they go want to push off on the dog and all.
There's a wicked people, set of people.
Right? Go ahead.
Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished, for want and famine they were solitary. For want and famine, because there's Job prophesying of them going into being chased into the Caucasus Mountains. Right? Go ahead. Fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste. Go ahead. Who cut up mallows by the bushes,
who cut up mallows by the bushes,
and
right?
juniper roots for their meat.
Yeah, poisonous bushes and whatnot they was eaten in the Caucasus Mountains. Right? Go ahead.
They were driven forth from among men.
Yeah, because everybody started around them. Not only we alone, everybody started around them. Because nobody can stand them. Go ahead.
They cried after them as after a thief.
Yeah, because that's where he is, a blasted thief. Go ahead.
To dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in the caves of the earth.
Anyway,
in the caves of the earth,
the Caucasus Mountains, Georgia, Russia. Go ahead.
and in the rocks.
And in the rocks. Go ahead.
Among the bushes they breed.
Among the bushes they breed. Because when they was living in the Caucasus Mountains, they didn't even have a language. They used to grunt to communicate with each other.
I hear you true cave, man.
Yeah, true cave. Yeah. That's how they used to communicate with each other in the Caucasus Mountains. Yeah? Go ahead.
Alright. Under the nestles, they were gathered together. They were children of fools. Yeah, children of base men.
Yeah, children of base men. You all are the basis of men. Right? You all are the basis of men. Right? That's why you had the audacity to come and whitewash all our history, and not only all our history, world history at that matter.
Everything that the Lord said not to do with it.
Right? To put yourself to esteem yourself and to put yourself in this high esteemed way. For the nation to look up to you in such a way, look up to you in awe. Go ahead.
Lion wonders.
Yeah.
Right? So they were children of fools, yeah, children of base men.
Children of fools, children of base men.
They were viler than the earth.
They were what?
Viler than the earth.
They were viler than the earth, so drop it in. So now, let's prove now. Because the scripture say what? Prove all things, right? And hold fast that which is good, right? Alright, so let's prove. Read for me. These two and then they're going down to here.
Right?
Yeah, go ahead.
And that's the book Nature Knows No Color Line.
Yeah.
Page 55, chapter 5, right?
Go ahead, yeah.
And from paragraph 1.
Yeah.
While white vandals were pouring into Africa in the 4th and 5th centuries, Africans continued to arrive in southern Europe.
Why? But he's saying African, but really and truly, he don't want to say it specifically. That is really and truly, it is Israelites that was pouring into Europe. Go ahead.
Right? Chiefly as slaves.
Chiefly as what?
As slaves. Right? But in 711 AD, they came in as conquerors.
They what? They came
in as conquerors.
Go ahead.
1. Crossing into Spain, they captured Gibraltar.
Right? How they cross into Spain? Because Spain is right there to Morocco. Right? Spain is just a hop, skip, and a jump to Morocco and all Libya. Likewise, Italy also. So, like your word.
Correct. And defeated the Goths, white Germanic invaders of 3 centuries earlier.
Right, go ahead.
Their commander, Tariq, a Negro,
A what?
A Negro, gave his name to Gibraltar, formerly Cal.
Go ahead.
These Africans,
or these Israelites,
were Moors.
Were who?
Were Moors.
Were Moors. Because when you go into the word Moor, it just simply means dark. That is what the word Moor means. Right? Go ahead.
Sometimes called Arabs.
Sometimes called Arab, because the thing that we was not Arabs is that we was just following, because at that point in time, not only that, Mohammedanism was spreading like wildfire, right? Which we know today now as Islam. And a lot of us was forced into Islam, right? Practicing Islam on the outside, but behind closed doors, we keeping our true practices, our heritage. Right? Go ahead.
Sometimes called Arabs because of their language.
Right? Go ahead.
To the earlier Greeks, the Moors were black or dark people.
Were black or a dark people. Go
Hence
ahead.
the word Moros.
Hence the word what?
Moros.
Alright, go ahead.
And to the Romans, Moros.
Go ahead.
A black, woolly-haired people.
A dark, woolly-haired people.
Known synonymously as Ethiops.
Right?
Nigger.
What?
Nigger.
Acts 13:1. Go and read it yourself. Go ahead.
Negro. And Afar.
And Afar.
From African.
Right. Go ahead.
Even as late as the 5th century AD, Procopius, Roman historian, calls the people of Morocco black.
Right, because Morocco, or Morocco, that is why more, because when we came and we left, even before 70 AD, we was always influxed in Northern Africa, Northern and Eastern Africa, even before 70 AD. Right? And we was the original inhabitants of Morocco. Where you know today now was Morocco. Hence now you had the word Morocco. Right? Go ahead.
Alright, so jumping down to the last paragraph on that page, right?
Yeah.
There were, however, peoples of Negroid type in Spain.
In where?
In Spain. Many centuries before the Christian era.
Before the Christian era, before the Renaissance. Because what you have to understand, what they would never tell you, is that the Israelites or the Moors was ruling Europe for 1,000 years. Right? We was ruling Europe for 1,000 years. And we started to fall from rulership within the 1300s, 1400s, going onwards. Right? And when these Edomites start to spread the false ideology, the false religion of Christianity, and what have you. Right? Go ahead.
The peninsula was once joined to Africa.
Was what?
Once joined to Africa.
Because Spain, southern Spain, is very close to northern Africa. Go on your maps, you will see it. Why you take a lot of these Libyans and whatnot, a lot of these Negroes, let's be going to Libya and taking that although it's a short ride, but it's a very treacherous ride to reach right into Italy and Spain. Because it's an easy route. It's easy, but still treacherous. Right? Go ahead.
Right. The peninsula was once joined to Africa, and there are abundant evidences of Africans,
of Israelites, abundance of evidence of Israelites,
probably Bushman, as Freire says. The Moorish and Berber invasion was not the first to inundate with Negro and mulatto strains the extreme southern tip of Europe.
Right? Go ahead.
And particularly Portugal.
And particularly where?
Portugal.
Right, because Spain and Portugal was one back then. Right?
Yeah.
But wait, Rich. Let us certain part that's now. I don't need it to read all of that. Now that is it. That is it. Alright, so now I want you go to think I will pull some scriptures while you're reading. Go to 56.
Page 56?
Yeah. Go to 56, then 57, 59.
Alright, page 56.
Yeah, that's them where always see highlighted. That's where you see highlighted.
This is Ancient Notes Local Line, page 56, first
Yeah.
paragraph.
Yeah.
In the Chanson of Roland, written soon after they invaded France in 718 AD, they are described, and as in verses 145 and 146, as blacker than ink, with large noses and ears, and with nothing white except the teeth.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
They are 50,000 strong and are led by Marganis, emperor of Ethiopia and Carthage. Their most valiant figure